Good morning. It's beautiful Ohio. It's 15 degrees and there's lots of snow, as you can see. This is my trip home for Christmas, and I wanted to share with you on What's Up with Annette, where I'm from. So this is the end of my trip, actually, the most snowy and cold day, but I wanted to show you a few places that I've been, where I came from, and I hope this gives you a little bit of information about me. So, I hope you enjoy. This is 32 Cottage Street, Newark, Ohio. This is where I was born. The beginning of the journey. And this is Plymouth Church in Newark, Ohio, where I was christened, and the first church I remember going to. And I just think it's beautiful, especially when there aren't cars going by. And this is 945 Fieldson Drive, and this is the house I lived in from the time that I was 5 years old. This was a great neighborhood. Kids running everywhere, great Halloweens. Just a great place to grow up. I loved that house. This is where I went to school in elementary and played Batman and Robin on the playground, and I got to be Robin. And there is the bulldog, the mascot of Heath School System. And this is Heath High School. And the front of the school hasn't really changed, except for now this is actually the middle school. My middle school was torn down. And where I went to high school is now the middle school. And if you see this really large building in the background, that is the new high school. And it's amazing. I was there for the opening, and it's pretty incredible. But this was my little high school, and I graduated in a class of 150 people. I know this doesn't look like much, but this is Mound Builders Park. These are Indian mounds that were left by the Hopewell Indians around the year 1100. They used to be thought to be burial mounds, but history actually says that they were ceremonial mounds. Although people did dig up a lot of flint arrowheads and things. And if you can see that little tiny hill in the very middle of these circle mounds, it's exactly about a mile around the circle, and in the very center is a smaller mound that is in the shape of an eagle. They call that the Eagle Mound. And the opening of these mounds is exactly where the sun comes up on the summer solstice. Anyway, my first big theater experience was a huge pageant that they put on here on the Eagle Mound, and it was about the history of the area from the time of the Hopewell Indians in 1100 through the Civil War, the building of the Erie Canal, which came through here, up to present day. And so that was my big first public performance. And it's just a fabulous, calming place to come in the center of these mounds and hang out. Very peaceful. Licking County Players was started by my dad and a few other people in the early 60s, and it was the first community theater that I ever worked at. It wasn't actually at this building, which is the current location, because the first location that I was in with them blew down by a tornado. But this is their current home. It's still in existence all these years later. And they still do a whole season of shows every year. And that's pretty cool. My dad has left a legacy. And this is my real theater home. This is Weathervane Playhouse. It was started in 1969 by my father, a director named Bob Stegmiller, and their best friend Glenn McCune. And they used to hire actors out of New York City. They would come in the Straw Hat auditions, and their first season they needed some kids. And I started doing summer theater here in 1969, and my life was forever changed. And here it is, 2010, and it's still alive and well, even though it's been relocated. But my dad started this theater and built the original building. And I just love that it's still here. Well, it's hard to back up far enough from this building to get a good picture of it, but I'll pan up. This is the courthouse for Licking County, and it's in the middle of the square in downtown Newark, Ohio. And some of the architecture here is just still beautiful. They've retained some of the original facades, and a lot of it has been replaced, but some of it is still old and charming. The courthouse itself was built in 1876, so it was a pretty big deal around here when we had the bicentennial of the United States, but also the centennial of the courthouse. And I'm going to take a picture of it later at night because it'll be all lit up with Christmas lights. Okay, I had to get one picture of the courthouse lit at night because it's so fabulous. Okay, so that's the end of my trip. I'm here at Columbus International on my way back to Los Angeles for Christmas. And I had a great time in Ohio, and I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the places where I came from and the places that mean the most to me. That's it for What's Up with Annette.